Time to go.
Oh!
Hmm? Did you two run into any trouble over the past few days?
No, we just worked our shifts according to the schedule.
That's good. That means you didn't raise any suspicions when you infiltrated the infirmary. We've taken a look at the slip you've sent. Fremine successfully left the grounds via the pipes 2 days ago, and as of last night, Lynette has also infiltrated the infirmary after faking an illness.
Wait, why is she getting involved as well?
You already went above and beyond when you scoped out the infirmary. To put it more bluntly, even if we were to view that as something you did in exchange for Fremine's help, infiltrating a guarded stronghold is a different kind of job from a one-off investigation. We want to avoid using the same faces over and over, and Lynette also felt like you have already taken the first step for us, so she should be the one to finish the job.
So that's what Lynette thinks. Oh, Paimon hopes everything's going well for her.
Perhaps that's true. You're both very good people, and we've come to appreciate that more than anyone else. You've mentioned before that you've had some run-ins with the Fatui. I can understand that feeling, so I assume you're just helping us out of the kindness of your hearts?
Well, everyone could use some more friends. We'll be counting on you to help us in the future, too.
Since I see you as friends, then it's even more important for us to protect you from any peril. Fremine and Lynette feel the same way. Glad to hear it. Then, let's go check on Lynette before Fremine returns. If everything went well, then she should be wrapping up her investigation right about now.
Is now really a good time to go?
According to my observations, Sijuin always spends around half an hour away from the infirmary right before lunch. Lynette knows this as well, so also, I'm her brother, remember? It's only natural for an older brother to care about his young—
Okay, then let's head over right away.
Lynette should be here right now. Huh. Strange.
As expected, Sijuin isn't here, but why isn't Lynette here?
No, Lynette rarely deviates from the plan. We agreed that if she were to make changes on the fly, she'd find a way to let me know. Unless—
Let's see if there are any clues around here. We can look while we wait for her.
Okay.
There are some books here and a few files. They all look like medical records. Advanced nursing, how to raise the spirit of your patients, a quick guide to the psychology of emotions. These sure are some interesting books. Who knew Sijuin would be interested in these kinds of things? She even has books on understanding people's motivations and feelings. Is it because she's a Melusine? Or does she have a need to understand her patient's emotional state?
Seems quite normal to me. None of the beds have any signs of having been slept in. Except that one over there.
That's the one Lynette must have used, right? You said she was pretending to be sick.
She would have said her migraine was having a particularly bad flare-up. Generally speaking, the head nurse would then ask her, which means either the head nurse didn't return the entire time from when Lynette laid down up until she left the bed.
Ah, this is it! We saw it!
Wait, this thing? It doesn't look like it's been disguised that well. The space behind it is empty. From its size, I don't think it's an entrance that is meant to be taken apart. Could Lynette have tried to get inside? But if that's the case, she would... Let's look around here for some more clues.
Hey, you guys, there's a slip of paper over here.
A slip of paper?
It's right over here, and there's a bunch written on it too. It reads, "Out of respect for your usual practices, I'll use a piece of paper or card as the medium to pass on my message."
This is...
Is that all? The back. This...
Show me! Now!
That look on your face. Paimon's reading it now. Would you care to guess where Miss Lynette of the Fatui could be right now? No. Could she have... Is she already...
Wriothesley. Did he deliberately leave the infirmary unguarded to use it as bait?
Wait, you mean he was aware of our goals from the very beginning? But why? We didn't run into any trouble last time.
Yes, that is a crucial question. Wriothesley, he doesn't do anything without a clear... You're not from the same camp as us. You were sent down here by Nervulet, so you have no conflict of interest with Wriothesley. We're a completely different story, though. I'd like to know that, too. Why did he only go after her? Don't panic, just think everything over. Wait, you're right. Wait, the fact that Fremine was able to leave the grounds, could Wriothesley have let him go as well?
But what does he gain by letting Fremine leave like that?
So he's challenging me and trying to provoke me, I'm sure of it. We never should have sent out Fremine. We had to go through all that trouble to find an opening to sneak him around the guards and into the... If Wriothesley let him leave on purpose, then he's probably in a terrible spot now as well.
Lenny's getting more and more panicked. We have to calm him down. Don't be like this, Lenny. Fremine wouldn't have left if we hadn't told you about Child.
No. I'm the leader of this operation, and I'm the one responsible for this team. I was the one who failed to protect them. I'll go talk to Wriothesley.
Hey, don't be reckless! Traveler, please, talk...
I simply cannot allow Lynette to be abducted. I have to go. I'll find a way to get them back.
He's rushed out the door! After him!
Right. I feel like we still have some room to make changes on these...
It's not impossible, but it'll require extensive
Is that so? Very well. Then please be mindful of the time. Huh?
Is someone?
Pack everything up. Whoever's outside is eavesdropping. Someone! Please help! He's sick!
Whoa, are you okay?
These two. As expected, they've already found this place. Oh, they are. What a delightful turn of events. I like smart people, but I also like playing dumb. I like the feeling of... Oh my! What's wrong, little one? Being able to read human expressions is quite the useful skill. Lenny! Wait! It's no use. We have to catch up to him. He's already out of sight. How is he so fast? Let's go head him off at Wriothesley's office.
Come out and face me, Wriothesley!
Aren't we at an administrative office space? Why don't you at least try to follow even a couple rules from the fortress's indoor management regulations?
What did you do to my sister?
I ran into the young miss at the infirmary. I'd heard that she was suffering from quite the migraine, so I decided to invite her over for a cup of tea.
Stop joking around! Where did you take my siblings?
I have also heard that your performances are quite the spectacle. Miss Lynette would sometimes enter a box filled with water. Oh, maybe she'll appear behind you right now if you were to...
Is he trying to trick me into turning my head? No, he's probably not looking to attack me right now. All of the hostages are in his hands. You knew we were investigating the infirmary from the start, so you deliberately aroused the traveler's suspicions and baited us into continuing our investigation. As for Fremine, no, you probably didn't even interfere with Child's escape. You let him go so you could purge the Fatui members that we had planted into your ranks.
There was no need to do so. The Fortress of Meripede is a pretty pleasant place. Most people enjoy their lives here. The only ones who act different...
You removed our original members and spread the news of Child's escape so Father would assign our team to come down and investigate. Fremine has also fallen into your hands, right? If you're oh so omnipotent and so in control, why would you need hostages?
One correction. Lynette is in my hands right now, but Fremine is not.
He's not. What do you really want?
Lenny!
Oh, wonderful. Everyone is here, so I'll only need to say this once. Thank you so much for eager and to the point, I see. Alas, only Miss Lynette is currently having a cup of the fortress's finest tea. Although, as per your original plan, Mr. Fremine should also have returned to the fortress by now. But he has neither shown up...
Wait, you can't... You locked him outside in the...
I closed the fortress's gate to the outside world.
Fremine's a star diver, so he...
No, we're still here, so he definitely tried to find a way to come back for us. So we can't assume he might have made a...
But why would I do this, you may be asking? To have an audience with you, of course. My intel tells me that Mr. Linney is a great magician, so it's... Besides, I do recall you mentioning to Miss Lynette that you've always wanted to have a face-to-face meeting with the Lord of the Fortress of Meripede.
So, you've been keeping tabs on us before we even set foot in the fortress.
Some of my folks just happened to hear a thing or two, that's all. In any case, I will be straight with you. I was willing to play dumb and turn a blind eye, so we had a pleasant few days playing games together here. But once you started focusing on the Forbidden Zone, all of that Mr. Linney, the cards are stacked against you right now. Miss Lynette is in my hands, and Mr. Fremine is still slowly being pickled out. You need do but one thing to guarantee their safety. I would like you to contact your superior.
You want to see Father? But why should she bother giving you an audience?
Well, if she cares for the well-being of her dearest children, she should have plenty of motivation. I've heard that the bonds between the members of the House of the Hearth are like the bonds of family.
Why did you think Father sent us to handle the Fortress of Meripede? This place is basically a no man's land. It wouldn't be fitting for anyone as important as a harbinger.
Oh, I see. So it's because she doesn't care for my place here.
Was this the extent of your master plan to get to Father? No matter how much pressure you may put on me...
You people really are difficult to get along with. All I'm asking for is a face-to-face conversation. Does she truly have no interest in the fort? Mr. Linney, you have one last chance to invite your father here. If you refuse...
Lenny!
Instead of asking why I'm doing this, why don't you try to see things from my perspective for a second? From the very beginning, the Fatui has been actively infiltrating my fortress. I gave you a warning by cutting off the first few operatives I found, but that only caused you to double down. Had you given up on the fortress then and there, I'd have no reason to want to talk. Mr. Fremine left the fortress on his own, and Miss Lynette tried to pry out my secrets right in front of me. No matter how you look at it, the responsibility for this falls on you.
I shouldn't ask Father to do anything because of us.
6,
Wait,
2. Time's up. It really is a shame.
Risley!
Negotiations have broken down. Please leave, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for my afternoon.
Yeah, listen to the Traveler. If you can't talk to Linny, can you at least talk to us?
You do realize that I'm only letting you go because of Neuvillette, yes? You're here helping him out, and I've already done my best to stay out of your way. But that doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want. The fortress may be small and remote, but it still has its own Then how about this? Those who are capable deserve respect. You've spent quite some time investigating my home turf by now, so why don't you tell me a thing or two about what you found? I'll ask you 3 questions. Answer all of them correctly, and I'll agree to your request. Question 1. Regarding the hidden rules of the production zone,
I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the half hour just before lunch. The Fonta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't recognize the real value of coupons. We often see Miss Sijween observing the prisoners at work near the... Fonta's internal report suggests that they're starting a new trial of The research notes said that the Melazine race perceives the world very different. According to Collins, the Pancration... I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for... The Fonta promoter has been struggling We often see Miss Sijween observing the prison... The research notes said that the Melazine race Fonta's internal report suggests that they're starting a new trial of an unnamed and unpackaged product. According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place because the Fonta promoter has been... The research notes said that the Melazine... The Fonta promoter has been... The Fonta promoter has been struggling... I've been told that the infirmary is always... According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place because the Fonta company sponsored it. Fonta's internal report suggests that they're starting a new... We often see Miss Siege... Fonta's internal report We often see Miss Siege...
So that's what's going on. Paimon understands it now. The hidden rule of the production zone. People are not supposed to work 3 days in a row, and at first we thought this strange meat must have something to do with the people who disappeared. But in reality, they were all prepared by Sijween, the head. She often visits the production zone to observe the workers' health and makes a note of anyone who has worn themselves out out of her sense of duty as the head nurse, as well as her genuine concern for the workers' health. Sijween visits the cafeteria right before lunch and cooks an extra dish for those who can. Sijween has only the best intentions with her surprise gift and doesn't want anyone to find out about what she does. Unfortunately, Melazines as a race perceive the world differently. The recipients of her lovingly prepared special meals Are we on the right track?
Not bad. You've uncovered Sijween's secret and even guessed her intentions correctly as well. It's nice to know that her All right, now for my next... There are also some hidden rules in the Pancration ring, including the one that...
Fonta's internal report suggests that they're starting a new trial of an According to Collins, the Pancration tournament... The Fonta promoter has been... I've been told that the infirmary is all. We often see Miss Siege. The research notes said that the Melusine race, according to Collins, the Fanta's internal report suggests that.
Paimon gets this rule too now, so there really was nothing to be afraid of. That hidden rule of the pancreation ring is about how, people are not supposed to bet on both boxers at the same time. People get scared when they see it because they've subconsciously begun to associate it with, but really, it's just a bottle of the latest yet-to-be-named and packaged new Fanta a blood-red drink. It's no wonder even Fanta's own staff were questioning the company's decision. The company, facing backlash from its own staff, decided to try to trial the product on a smaller scale. They came to the fortress of Meropide and offered to sponsor the Pancration tournament so they could push their new product. The Duke, knowing how valuable coupons are in the fortress, knew that only total idiots who didn't understand their true value would bother buying a Fanta product. And so, only those who proved their stupidity by being dumb enough to bet on two opposing sides of the same match were selected to receive the drinks.
I acknowledge the effort you've put into bringing the truth. Although, based on your description, that Fanta promoter is a bit too careless with his words. I may just reconsider my collaboration. All right, and here's the final question. What's the secret behind our head nurse and all of her patients in the infirmary?
Stop your cruel and pointless games, Risley! You know that we haven't finished our investigation, so there's no way we can answer the last question. The thought of sparing Lynette and Fremen— You'll pay for this! Ah!
Lenny, are you alright?
Oh, close one. I owe you, Sigeween. That was a fantastic—
It was nothing, Your Grace.
Sigeween?
Though this gun may look like a toy, it's actually fully functional, as I just demonstrated.
Sigeween... You...
Not at all. I am merely a resident of the fortress, and thus protecting it is my duty. When Monsieur Nervulette asked me to come here, he told me that my job would be to take care of the well-being of everyone here. I am merely discharging my duties.
But if you mean what you just said, then isn't Linny someone you should be looking after as well? Isn't he a resident here just like the rest of us?
But I really am just doing what Monsieur Nervulette told me to do. Everything I did, I've done to protect them. His Grace knows it too, right? Your Grace? Mind proving my innocence to them?
My dear Sigeween, whatever shall I do with you? Would it have killed you to just wait another minute or two?
Well, it's nearly time after all. The way you do things can be truly fresh.
What are you talking about?
Take me if you want. But let them go.
How touching. Can you just give me one more minute?
Don't be like that, Your Grace.
All right, everyone, calm down. 2 more visitors will— I'll go get a cup of tea. Miss Sigeween, I leave Miss—
You... What are you...
I believe I hear footsteps.
Some space, please.
Ah, Miss Clarande. My door.
Fremine... Fremine...
What's going on? What is Clarande doing here?
Work.
I'm sorry about shooting you, Mr. Linney. The tranquilizing effect will begin to wear off soon. Please take it easy in the meantime, though.
What happened to Fremine? Wasn't he diving just outside of the fortress? Why is he looking like...
A flushed face, an accelerated pulse. He must have consumed primordial seawater.
What did you say?
Please, make some space. I'll need to give Mr. Fremine a more thorough...
I'll talk to Clarande while you get Fremine to where he needs to be. Everything else can wait.
What's that look on your face? I thought I made good time on the way back.
Oh, I'm just admiring your punctuality. Had you arrived just a few minutes later, Sijwin may have been for— How's the situation out there?
The water has changed. It's pretty much as expected. I was only out there a short time, so it wasn't too bad. But if one were to stay for any significant amount of time...
Where was he when you found him?
The abandoned zone at the end of the pipes. A good distance into the water.
Closer than I thought. He must have recognized it early on and tried desperately to swim.
Locking the door was necessary. I don't think we could have saved two.
Well, I did try to convince him that I had my reasons. Never seems to work, though.
It would probably work on Neuvillette. He has a knack for picking out who had good intentions, even when the outcomes were all terrible.
That's a bad sign if you're having to plead your... Want some tea?
Not particularly. If you want to drink some that badly, just say...
Fine, I'd like to get some tea. Want me to get you a cup too, since I've already made...
Might as well then, I suppose. Actually, do you have a towel?
How is he?
These symptoms are probably caused by an acute ingestion of a large amount. Of course, it would be best if he stayed for further observation. Let's leave him here for now, and move him to the infirmary once he's... Sorry. I am aware that the infirmary may not be your favorite place in the world at...
Why would he ingest a large amount of primordial seawater after leaving the fortress?
Please, look after Mr. Fremine for the moment. I'll go fetch some medicine and a respirator.
Where is she?
Oh, she just took a nap in an empty room after I tranquilized her. If my calculations are correct, she should also be waking up right around now. You might not believe me.
Linny, are you okay?
I'll be fine. They're all here now.
Are you sure? You don't look all right.
My hands and feet are still a bit weak, but that's probably just...
I'm back, everyone.
Lenny! Oh, Traveler, Paimon. Fremine?
He'll be fine. But for now, please help me lift him up.
His breathing's beginning to slow down.
Give me a hand and help me get him to...
Yeah, I'll take him from this side.
On it.
Traveler, you seem pretty worried about him. Want to come with us?
The Duke and Clarande are gone.
They probably went to get some tea. The Duke will explain the truth in just a bit.
He's awake! Fremine, how do you...
Linny. Lynette.
We're all here.
Where?
The infirmary, at the Fortress of Meripede, Mr.
How do you feel? Don't push yourself if you're not...
Traveler. Paimon. It's been so long. The sea. There's something wrong with the seawater.
Shh, it's okay. We can talk about it.
No, listen to me. This is really serious. There's primordial seawater mixed into the regular seawater.
I don't know why it's there, but pipes. Right, the pipes. It's all coming back to me now. I'm in. Seems like this pipe hasn't been used in a long time. Where could Master Child be?
Frost is coming! Pear!
This mechanism looks like it's been tampered with. Could he have done it?
Frost is coming! Pear! Getting gear!
Hip. It's getting stuck on something. Seems like I'll have to avoid those obstacles while I turn it. This is where the water starts. Okay. Master Child probably dived... The vegetation here is a bit more sparse. These traces aren't natural. A person must have left them, and recently. I should be going in the right direction. Oh, there are traces here too. I need to keep going. Huh? The traces are gone. But I don't see where he could have gone from here. Wait. What the... My heart is racing, and it's getting harder and harder to breathe. No good. I have to get back. They still don't know anything about what's going on. If I turn back right now, I should still be able to make it. I can't die here. This... I have to push on.
So, in other words, the trail you were following vanished, and...
That's right. I tried my best to swim back, but I had already put some distance between myself and...
Miss Clarande brought you back, but we also don't know why she just suddenly appeared at the fortress.
Miss Clarande, you say? I must go thank her in person.
You're still too weak for Monet.
Miss Lynette is right. I believe Miss Clarande will stay here as a guest for another few days.
A guest? Then I can assume Risley was the one who invited her to come down.
You should ask His Grace about that. He'll be able to explain better than...
Yeah, it's about time he actually told us what's going on.
No, please go on without me. I don't want to leave just yet.
Lenny.
The logical part of my brain is aware that we're safe right now, but I still can't bring myself to leave.
Understood.
In that case, I'll leave the infirmary to you. The Traveler and I are going to head out for now.
Thank you.
Excuse me?
I take it Mr. Fremonet's condition has stabilized?
Of course. I wouldn't have left the infirmary otherwise.
I've been expecting those two, but might I inquire as to the purpose of your visit, Miss Siegewien?
I wanted to check up on Miss Clarande. How are you feeling?
Mostly fine, I think.
If you don't mind, I'd like to perform another quick physical exam.
All right. Thank you for looking out for me.
Well, want to explain yourself, Risley?
Of course, but I'm not partial to the word choice of explain. How about enlighten? Where should I begin? How about you start by asking me any questions you have? You can...
Then Paimon will begin. Did you know about Lenny's goals from the very beginning?
No. I just knew they were Fatui operatives sent to the fortress by the Knave. As for their specific goals...
You managed to monitor and stay ahead of them even though you didn't know what they were trying to do?
They came here with ulterior motives. I'm quite adept at discerning what that kind of behavior signals. Initially, I thought their goal was just to investigate Child's disappearance. Linny suggested that I had deliberately let him escape, but in truth, I didn't really do anything special to help or hinder him while he was here. Everything he did, from finding helpers to leaving this place, he did on his... Of course, it's inevitable that the Knave would make a big deal out of her fellow Harbinger's unexplained disappearance. I'm also quite curious about where that Harbinger went. So I figured I might as well let the Fatui do their own investigative work. All I care about is the answer.
So you were hoping Lenny's group would just do your work for you!
You make it sound like that's a bad thing. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. I assume that Fremine has told you already, the ratio of primordial seawater around the fortress of Meripede is on the rise. The Forbidden Zone has always been Linny's target, and you got roped into that investigation after running into him. I began to intervene out of concern for your safety, and also to prevent the fortress from becoming entangled in more irksome matters.
Are the rumors true? That you're also a former criminal?
Why would you put it like that? Isn't staying here all day and serving as the manager of the fortress a kind of sentence unto itself? Another form of prison?
Oh, right! Paimon wanted to ask, who invited Claran down here?
Me, of course. I paid her good Mora to come down to the fortress for some field work. As a champion duelist, Miss Claran could be considered to be an independent party. I needed to find an exceptionally capable person to help me get through the impending crisis.
And saving Fremine was part of that crisis?
You can think of it like that, yes. Credit where credit is due, that boy is quite adept at diving. Had conditions not been as hostile as they were, he probably would have found the missing Harbinger already. That's not something you should be asking after. Neuvillette only asked you to investigate Child's whereabouts. All I need to prove to you is that the Forbidden Zone had nothing to do with the Harbinger's disappearance. That should be clear now that you've spoken to Fremine.
But we've already uncovered that there's something wrong with the infirmary, and we've answered a bunch of questions that you threw at us. Isn't it about time that you
You make a compelling case. Do you really want to know the answer that...
Yeah, Paimon really wants to know!
Even if the truth may not be pleasant? Follow me.
There's a hidden door here? And a whole basement behind it? Huh. You're pretty good at hiding stuff, Risley.
It seems you've forgotten just what kind of place the fort...
Take it easy.
Stand on the central plate.
Wait, is there a secret mechanism or... Whoa! This is the Forbidden Zone? Honestly, for a place so well hidden, Paimon sure doesn't... What a huge door!
There are 3 such isolation gates in total. Generally speaking, I'm the only... Am I correct to assume you're going to run on back and tell your little Fatui friends everything?
Well, Paimon wasn't thinking of keeping anything from them.
Well, I'd advise you wait until you've seen the whole truth of this place for yourself before deciding... Stand back.
Whoa! They all just went up one by one!
Go on, have a look. I've been interested in what lies beyond that gate ever since I assumed leadership of the Fortress of Meripede. Of course, it would be unwise to recklessly open it, but it'd also be risky and negligent to simply ignore any potential danger that could. The readings on that dashboard have not budged since the day when I first laid eyes on this place. But over the past year, the needle has crept upwards from its original position, likely because some parameter it's been tracking has changed. Normally I would have ignored it, but I happened to have some free time when I noticed it, so I investigated. Any guesses what the reading could be tracking? Very reasonable guesses. I've considered both of those as well. The temperature should vary with weather and climate changes, so for something that rarely shifts, the water pressure is more likely. We ran a few tests to increase the pressure from the outside, but the readings didn't change at all. Later on, a few more possibilities occurred to me, such as a potential connection with the primordial sea. I began to make a few preparations based. Over the past few days, the needle has moved again. With that, and the symptoms that Fremine displayed after leaving the fortress, I can now confidently conclude that the readings represent the concentration of primordial seawater in the seawater nearby.
The concentration of primordial seawater? But we're already under the sea!
And that is precisely the problem. We're at the bottom of the sea, and now we're surrounded by toxic seawater. Somehow, primordial seawater got mixed in, and the Yes, that's very...
But forget about the two of us! Not even Novelette knows where the... Oh.
Seems like you've figured it out. I believe the primordial sea lies directly beneath this sluice gate. The indicators are now red. Although the gate still if this continues... soon it will no longer be able to hold back. Yeah, you know what the legends say. If this place falls, then everyone in Fontaine will be turned...
But that's just too weird! Why would the Fortress of Meripede be built around...
Your expression tells me you think this might be part of a vast, complicated conspiracy. It's just that the secret of the Forbidden Zone had been long forgotten by the nation before I rediscovered it with my... There's no single founder of the Fortress of Meripede in any traditional sense. When the previous Hydro Archon, Egeria, ruled the land, all convicted criminals from Fontaine were exiled. The people drove the criminals away like a wolf pack chased. The criminals received no sympathy of any kind from the people. They were exiled to the desolate seaside, where they experienced only pain. Some of them began to repent, and prayed to the Hydro Archon, asking if there was still anything they could do. The Hydro Archon took... And so, leaning on the power of the Hydro Archon, they gathered underneath the sea and began to build a fortress. They became... As the number of exiles increased, more and more people joined the community. When the first group of exiles died, they left the yet unfinished fortress to their successors. The Hydro Archon continued to lend her support, allowing the fortress and with that, the people here stopped referring to the fortress as a prison. They saw themselves as... But as time went on, people also realized that the fortress was a lonely place. Once they had finished serving their sentences, some people left and some others chose to stay. They'd find some idle position and let their... After many, many centuries, few people still remember the reason for the fortress's founding. Now they just see it as an integral pillar of Fontainian society, as the place where criminals deserve to be sent. Now and again, researchers manage to break one law or another and live out their days in the fortress. I learned all this from an elderly...
But now you know every part of that history is true.
Indeed. It's just as the prophecy says. If this gate fails, to be frank, not really. But sadly, that hasn't stopped. Prophecies are troublesome things. Just hearing one will create the first wave of panic. Seeing signs of it will bring about the second. Let's go somewhere else. This is it.
Your Grace, perfect timing. The results from our last...
Wait, Jurier, he's not alone!
Huh? Lorvine and Jurier?
No need to panic, you two. I've already told them about...
What? After you warned us not to tell a single soul about...
I'm skeptical as well. Are you sure they are trustworthy?
The results speak for themselves, don't they? These two may already know more than...
All right then, if Your Grace insists.
They seem harmless enough, so I'll trust them for now.
Well, how about some reintroductions? This is Jurier, one of the highest-ranked researchers from the Fontaine Research Institute. He used to work under Edwin. I trust that you've heard... Good. Saves me a bit of time. Edwin's main areas of research were archaeum and gravimeters. As his assistant, Jurier is...
You want to blow up the fortress of...
What a lovely idea.
Gotta admit,
Guys, focus! Focus!
That taskmaster over there is Miss Lorvine, and is also one of my technical...
Ooh, are they together?
See? Everyone keeps asking this question. Are you...
Your Grace, I am not in a relation...
If I dated her, I'd officially be madder than Edwin.
Jeez. Forget I said anything then. Follow me.
Whoa, there's another door that goes right up.
Your constant amazement makes it seem like the fortress can do anything.
But Paimon really thinks everything's super cool.
Well, let's spice it up a bit. And here you go.
What a huge... This is also a production zone that Paimon's never seen before.
How much do you know about Fontainian history?
Not much at all.
Well, then maybe you haven't heard the story of ancient Lemuria. To give you... According to legend, the Lemurian king Remus came to this land after being inspired by divine revelation and found the seer Sibila, who had taken on the form of a golden bee. Taking the golden bee with him and riding on a huge ship, he called his nation Lemuria and used the Fortuna to incessantly search.
There's a ship in this story too?
Where there's water, there'll be ships. People believe that hope can always...
Do you believe that too?
To a point, I think. As you've already seen, I have a whole factory's worth of labor materials, so the moment I began to speculate that the primordial sea might lie under...
Were you inspired by the legendary Fortuna?
Maybe. Fontainians need something to hold on to were the workers to find out the truth behind this ship. Riots. As the fortress's administrator? Alright, that's enough talking for now. I'll need another 3. Seems like you're good. I'll leave you here for now.
Oh, thank you. So...
No worries. But don't forget, it's up to you whether or not you want to share what you just saw.
Yeah, we'll put a lot of thought into it for...
Great. I look forward to what happens now.